Hi, well, I'm back. I'm back quite quickly because I only did a video, was it yesterday? No, Friday. I wanted to talk about wastage because I think anyone that machine embroiders will have wastage, and it can be through no fault of us. It can just be something the machine does, or it can be we haven't set it properly, or there's a whole load of reasons why something can go wrong and it can waste a garment. And I didn't realise when I did my first order that I needed to build in a little bit of money for wastage. And that I thought, oh no, I never even considered it. But yeah, but there are things you can do. There are things you can do to actually make that garment profitable still, even though you can't use it for that exact purpose. So, and I'm going to take you through a few different things that I do, and you can see how much value is still in that garment and that it doesn't have to be wasted. So the first thing I do is, once I know that, it's wrecked, is I will cut it up, and I will cut a whole panel for the back because I want it to fit my biggest hoop. And if I then feel that actually I need it for my smaller hoops, then I will actually then cut it into smaller sizes. But if I do it large to start with, it gives me the best option for the bigger hoop. And then I will cut the arms off, and I will take the cuff off, and I will open up the seam. And again, that gives me, usually that will then go for my round hoops, we're a bit smaller, and I can usually get 3 hoop-ins out of an arm. So that's quite good. So this is where, if you use it wisely and you've got all of this fabric from these garments, if this is an adult size, of course, you can actually make it more profitable in a very strange way. So I'm going to talk about unpicking, which will be further down the video, but this is what you could do initially, and this is what I do. So if I'm embroidering, say, a dog for somebody, I will stitch that out probably numerous times to make sure I get it right. And what I like to do is, when I've got the final image, and I will use my scrap material, I will cut round it when I finish, and I will post it off to the customer for them to see it, because some people are very tactile. They like to actually physically see something rather than just a picture by email or text. And the joy they get through receiving something through the post as a surprise, because I don't tell them, is just lovely. It's usually a really good experience, and they just love to have that to keep while theirs is actually being done. So for instance, I sent one off last week. The lady was so delighted, and she just wants a lighter pink around the eyes, and it's sorted. So that then has given us something to look forward to, because she's already kind of seen that image and she knows it's going to be even better when she gets it. So so what I do as well is, that's kind of built in the cost. So you haven't actually lost the garment you've trashed, because you've got some value back from actually using it and sending it out that way. The other thing I do is, when we're doing our own images, we will, and I've shown this before, we will turn them into bags. So if it's on a jersey fabric, we'll put it on a permanent, it's oh gosh, a stabilizer, sticky stabilizer, iron-on stabilizer, and then we'll back it with some cotton. This is actually on cotton, but then we'll do a double cotton for the other side. So for instance, this one is lined, it's all beautifully lined, and actually we sell these for about £20. So an image that you could think, well, that's going to be thrown away, turn it into something that you can actually get money back off of. It's never then anything you've wasted your time doing, because you've got the value of the thread, you've got the value of the bag, and it's just, yeah, they don't take long to actually make. So, and that's quite an easy way to actually get some value back. And also the other day, I used the big hoop. I made sure the embroidery design was quite low down in the hoop. And then it was for a guy in sports, and I turned it into a drawstring bag for him, so he can keep his tennis balls and golf balls, and it's got his logo on it. And he didn't know, that wasn't costed in, but that is an incentive. It's like a really nice thing to do that people will talk about, and they'll go, oh, I had that done there, but they actually did this for me as well as a surprise. So maybe through doing something like that, it's going a distance for a customer, but maybe because they appreciate it and thought it was a really lovely gesture, they'll talk about it, and then hopefully you get more business come your way. So it's just, sometimes these things are nice things to do. Sometimes you can turn around and make more money from a mistake. Don't ever think a mistake is necessarily going to cost you money, because if you haven't built that cost into the fact you're going to have wastage on that invoice, on that order, then you can always try and do it another way. So the other thing I was going to talk about was the fact of unpicking machine embroidery. Now, I don't know if anybody has unpicked machine embroidery. I have. Basically, it was quite a simple logo. So this is the back of it. 1, 2, 3, 4 letters and a tiny, tiny design. That took me an hour to unpick. I've tried everything I can think of which is safe to use to unpick this. If the letters are wide enough, you can use a unpicker. So you can use one of those. But sometimes things are too thin, so you can't get it in, which is like that bit there. And I've tried to use all sorts of devices. In the end, and I use permanent stabilizer. I don't know if you've watched my other videos, but you'll know I mostly use permanent stabilizer. So it does give me a barrier to the undergarment as well, just in case things sort of were to dig down and it won't cut the garment. So I think, oh, well, you know, it'll be easier, but it isn't. So if you know of any way that you can actually unpick machine embroidery, which is a safe method, then I will do a video and I'll give it a go. Saying that, there is a video out there at the moment, and I don't know whether you've seen it, and I don't recommend, well, I won't be doing this. I won't be doing it. And it looks like it works. I'm skeptical because until I do it, I can't say one way or another, but it is using a razor blade, an old-fashioned razor blade, and just going over the top and scooping off the excess. So you could do that if that's what you wanted to do. But for me, safety-wise, I have people coming into the room. I might forget where I've put it. I do not want those things lying around. It's bad enough when my granddad used to use them years ago for shaving. And, you know, so I think we've progressed away from that era of using those, and maybe we look at something safer. I did try a disposable razor, just trying to shave the top, but that didn't work. So I think actually trying to unpick this very simple logo took me about an hour to do it. And it wasn't cost effective. When I can actually use the fabric, send it off to customers, make it into things, it returns so much more financially and time-wise than it would do to unpick it. So it's not the end of the world. But if you know of a method, let me know and I will give it a go and I'll film it. But I would say just to be really, really cautious on the safety angle. It only takes for a slip or something, you're going to cut yourself to pieces. So yeah, it could be a lot more disastrous. And the more dense design, the more stitches, the harder it is to actually remove it all. And, you know, you could do a plique over the top. The only thing with a plique is sometimes you get the image come through, you know, when it's ironed, you'd see the image underneath of it in the standoff, in the embossed, it'd like be an embossing. So that might work unless, it might not work unless it was maybe a baby cord or something like that of an applique. So I wouldn't even do that. For me, I have my methods. They work really, really well. We make a lot of money. We don't worry about wastage now. Obviously try not to waste garments, but it's not the end of the world if we do. And it still brings a lot of money back into the business, more so than what it done if we'd sold the sweatshirt. Yeah, perhaps it's telling me something. Perhaps I just need to do bags with embroidered dogs on and things like that, you know. But we do little wristlet ones as well, and they look lovely and they're so individual, and it might just be that it's a different colour thread we wanted. and we'll try out different colours because we are so fussy to make sure that we get the right look. And with threads, there's just so many that all look exactly the same, but they're not when you stitch them. And sometimes until you do that, you don't know what you're going to end up with. So anyway, I hope that's been quite useful with regards to wastage. I even keep all the stabiliser that I use. I've got a bucket, a bin down there, and it's full of stabiliser that has been cut around the images because we make a lot of other products. And so a friend of mine, it all gets given to her. She helps me makes things, and then she uses it on other products which are smaller items, like we do poo bag holders and treat pouches and all those kind of things. So she will actually join it together to make it bigger if she needs to. So we try to be as resourceful as possible with the least impact to the environment as possible. And I think we're doing quite well at the moment. We reuse packaging that comes in, we reuse it and send it back out. We do have our nice doggy tissue paper, but apart from that, we always try to use plastic bags which are sometimes you can't use the plastic bags you put in the post that are compostable because they might get wet. So you do need a certain degree of water repellency, which is not going to degrade, and you're going to lose the integrity of the bag. So all your things fall out. But we use recycled plastic bags. And then anything inside that bag, we will use glassine bags. And for our cards as well, it will all be glassine. So we try to be mindful of everything we use, and we try to only use viscose threads. The bobbin thread's always polyester, but that is what it is. And just trying to do what we can in the most cost-effective and environmentally friendly way we can actually work. So I hope that's been interesting. I say, love to hear all your comments as always. I'm glad I've been able to do another video. I wanted to do this one for a while because I didn't want someone to sit and think, oh my goodness, I've just gone and sewn the hood and the hoodie to the back of the sweatshirt, whatever. And you always know, don't you? Because it changes sound. And it's like, you just think, it's nearly finished the design and it's just caught up something underneath and I haven't pushed it clear enough. Anyway, there we go. At least you know now what to do and still be able to make money out of it and please your customers. Take care, everybody. Have a super evening. Bye.